morning, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me today to do some yoga. We're doing another special request class. We're going to be doing yoga for when you sit too much. So all of this class is about counteracting the negative things that can happen in our bodies when we sit for long extended periods of time. We'll stretch out the front of the body when we sit for long periods of time. We can tend to fall into that kind of forward hunching posture, shortening and tightening up our abdominal muscles, our hip flexor muscles, putting strain on our lower back muscles, our pelvic muscles. So we'll get some nice good tall posture. We'll stretch gently those abdominal muscles. We'll build some of the muscles in our backs that can help us to sit in a more functional pattern, sit up straighter and taller. And we're also going to stretch out our hips and our hamstrings, areas that when we sit, we literally sit on our butts, on our hips, so they can become quite compacted and tight. And our hamstrings start to shorten when we're not using them, so we'll lengthen those out as well. We'll also work a little bit into stretching out our shoulders again to counteract that kind of forward tech posture or movie watching posture or typing posture. We're going to get rid of all of that and sit straight and tall, and hopefully you will feel like you haven't been sitting at all after class. Thank you, Vicky, for this great suggestion. Yoga for when you sit too much. Now, you might want some props for this class. If you don't have any, don't worry, you can still participate, but having one of these props here will add to your class. A yoga block or a blanket, large beach towel, whatever folds up kind of firmly and compactly to a little brick, or a yoga bolster. You can also have all three or as many props as you want in this practice, but one of these three will enhance your practice a little bit today. And you can select whichever one you like. We're going to start with a supported psoas release. So I would recommend something nice and soft. I'm going to use my bolster because I happen to have one underneath my hips and I love how cushiony it is. So pick your prop and then come with that prop right next to your mat, just about the distance height of your hips, and lie yourself down on the floor. And when you lie down on the floor, the most important thing is first that you get comfortable. You kind of shift your hips around. You make sure that your shoulder blades are connected to the floor. And then you'll draw the soles of your feet in so your knees are pointing straight up. Lift your hips up and take your prop underneath your hips. So you have a support on which to rest your tailbone and your pelvis. And depending on the size of the support, it may or may not touch your lower back. That's totally fine, as long as it supports the triangle bone at the base of your spine. That's what's important here today. If you're practicing without a prop, you can simply lie on the mat and participate in the leg extensions that come next. That will still lengthen your abdominals, your psoas muscles, and your hip flexor muscles. Start right here. A little bit of elevation perhaps in your hips. You let your hands rest on your belly. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Nice big sigh out. And then just let your breath flow naturally. And just taking that deep breath to become aware of your breathing. You don't have to do really much more than that today, just so that you notice that you are in fact doing that most essential task. You just take a few breaths here. Allow your hips to grow a little bit heavy so you feel that you're making an imprint on the floor or an imprint on your prop, a little mold of your hips. Then you're more than welcome to stay right here in reclined pose or in supported bridge pose. That's with your hips lifted. Or you can start to work a little deeper into the stretch at the front of the body, maybe extending the right leg to the bottom of the mat. And you'll start to feel that gentle tug, especially if you're up on a prop, just adds a little extra stretch. along the right side of your body. Maybe you like to extend your right arm overhead. If that feels good and you want to go for full psoas release already, you can extend the left leg and the left arm up over your head. I'm going to stay here for a period of time, so if you want to practice with me, I'm just going to do one side at a time. I'll tell us when to switch. Also an opportunity if you want to try it and then come back, so you can kind of customize. Really, the only important thing here is that you relax as much as possible. So it's okay if your foot or feet flop a little bit out to the side. It's okay if your shoulders soften. You let just the positioning of your body do the work here so that the muscle is really gently, and the muscles really in this case, really gently being expanded. We're just starting with kind of an ease into it. Especially if you have been sitting for long periods of time, just starting off kind of all fire and vigor is often a little too much for those tight, short muscles. It's nice to kind of give them a little taste of how good it feels to be stretched out, and then we'll work a little more vigorously, a little more dynamically. If you're comfortable where you are on your full psoas release, you can stay. Or with me, you can switch sides, drawing the right leg and the right arm in. And switching over, our left leg extends, maybe left arm extends. This is also an opportunity, if you picked one place and you're not happy there anymore, go ahead and switch to a different position. And again, just relax as much as you can. Feel your body, again, creating that imprint of your hips downward into your prop or into your mat. Appetizer for your body. Just whetting the appetite for some deeper stretching, some deeper work in this area of the body. Take another deep breath wherever you are. And you're going to draw the soles of your feet in if they're not already there, so they're pointing back up to the ceiling. Bring your hands down by your sides. You can use your hands to press you into the mat as you press your heels into the mat, lift your hips, and slide your prop out to the side. Lower your hips gently to the floor and just rest here for a moment in neutral, feeling some of that space in your lower back. If at that point you feel the need to draw your knees into your chest to reorient your back to the floor, please don't hesitate to do so. You can always kind of reset by bringing the knees in and rocking a little side to side. We're going to stay on our back here for a few more moments. And when you're ready, you're going to extend your left leg to the bottom of the mat and place the sole of the right foot on the floor. And again, bring your arms out to the side. You're just going to start to let your right knee go out to the side as well for a little bit of a reclined tree pose. And as you go out to the side, you might reach a point where your left hip kind of starts to lift to tilt you over. If that's the case, go ahead and grab a prop and put it underneath your right knee so that you can stay in this reclined tree position without lifting the left side of your pelvis up as your right knee opens out to the side. If it's perfectly comfortable to have the right knee down towards the floor and the left hip stays grounded, you can even put your hand there and kind of make sure you don't need a prop. But if, like me, you start to lift a little bit, your pelvis is a little tight, a prop can be really nice. Because again, here, you want to relax for a few breaths. You can let your left foot kind of flop if you want. Soften your belly. Relax your shoulders. I have my hands on my belly, that feels nice, but you can also have your arms out to the side or even your arms up overhead. Anything that you would do in a standing tree pose, feel free to try that out here. Even hands at the heart. See where your shoulder blades feel best. Now you just want to think about relaxing the inside of your pelvis, your inner hips here. In that area. Grow soft. Another deep breath. With the inhale that follows, you're going to draw your right knee back into the center line. Bring it in towards your chest. If it feels like too much to bring that knee in towards your chest as you have your left leg long, go ahead and tent your left knee and then cross over to your left with your right knee. My left knee was lifted, so it's just going to kind of fall over to the side in a pinwheel shape, or the left leg can be extended towards the bottom of the mat. You can see what feels comfortable. And here you can work a little bit more if you want, kind of gently guiding your right knee over to the left so you feel some action, some kind of twistiness in your mid and lower back. You can draw your belly button a little towards your spine. Inhale, bring that leg back to the center line. Place the sole of the right foot on the floor. Draw the left knee in towards your chest and extend your right leg long, placing the sole of the left foot when you're ready on the floor. Letting the left knee fall out to the side. If you want to add a prop underneath your left knee for your tree pose, go ahead. And honestly, like a standing tree pose, it doesn't really matter where your foot connects on your leg. It could be the thigh, the knee, the calf. Pick a place that feels good so you can relax again your lower belly and your pelvis. Let your hands come to that comfortable place. And this is just very relaxed, very easy. Enjoy just the very gentle opening in the hips. Keep relaxing. That's the most important thing here. Soft jaw, easy shoulder, relaxed belly. Take another deep breath. With the following inhale, you draw your left knee in. You can draw it in towards you and then cross the left knee to the right. And again, if you need to tent your right knee because that feels better in your back, please don't hesitate. Feel what variation feels really nice and stretchy through your spine. Again, you can work a little bit harder here now if you want, relaxing your left shoulder towards the floor, pulling your belly button towards your spine to get a little further into this twist. And then bring the knee back to the center line, head the left knee to the chest. With the right knee to the chest, give yourself a little rock from side to side. Perhaps even turn the soles of your feet up. Happy baby for a moment, drawing the knees a little bit more towards the armpits. And don't worry if this is not a very full happy baby yet, because we haven't stretched any of these areas. They're just starting to open up. So maybe instead of holding your feet, you can just hold your thighs or your calves. And then when you're ready, you can rock yourself all the way over to one side and press yourself to seat it. You're going to come around here to a table pose this morning. Hands under the shoulders and knees underneath your hips. If you want to place a blanket underneath your knees, please don't hesitate to do so. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And we're going to start with just a very small strengthening exercise into our backs. So lift your belly button a little bit up towards the ceiling. See if you can feel some decompression in your lower back. As you lift your belly, your lower back gets more spacious here. It gets stronger. Shrug your shoulders back. Keep your shoulders over your wrists as you reach your right fingertips towards the front of the mat, as if you're just trying to touch down just as far as you can without rocking forward. And just notice the work in your core. And then switch sides. The right hand plants down and the left hand reaches forward. Don't rock forward. You're staying exactly the same orientation. Shoulder over wrist, knees over hips. You feel the work in your core, and you switch sides. We're just going to do that a few more times, side to side. You reach out, you hold for a beat, and you bring the right hand in. Left hand reaches, feel the abdominals firming up, feel the low back continuing to come towards the ceiling, and switch. And just notice, just holding this tabletop position with a little bit of balance is already starting to work the muscles of your back, already starting to work your core muscles. We're going to do one more on each side. And then place both of those hands down. Now as you inhale, really relax your belly to the floor, lift your tailbone and your gaze, roll your shoulders back, find your cow pose. And then as you exhale, lift your belly up, find your cat pose. Inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. And just notice as you start to move your spine a little more dynamically where it feels like it might need some extra love and attention today. All right, we're going to do one more cow and one more cat. And then we're going to take that balancing act just a little bit further. Coming back to neutral, reach the crown of the head forward, lift the belly button a little bit, tuck the right toes under, reach the right foot to the back of the mat, press the right heel to the back of the room again, keeping the shoulder to the wrist, reach the left hand out in front of you. And you'll notice some work in your core. You might just stay right here, this might feel like plenty, or you might now lift your right leg up. Let your right hip fall to the same plane as your left hip, and just keep this left hand kind of reaching as if you were trying to touch the front edge of your mat. And just hold here for another couple breaths. Feel the work. Keep your belly engaged. If you start to feel a lot of discomfort or pain in your low back, take a break. You want to be working from a place of strength here. It's like you're wrapping all of those midsection muscles in towards the bones to create intelligently strong posture. Go ahead and release the hand. Release the knee. Take a cow and a cat in between the sides. And then reaching to neutral. A little bit of engagement in your belly button. It's not so much that you come through that kind of cat shape. There's no rounding and your tailbone should not tuck down. It's just enough that you feel that this area in your lower back is a little more stable and strong. Left toes tuck under, left toes reach back. Maybe you can reach your right fingertips out in front of you. And this might be plenty. You can hold right here. If you feel lots of lovely core work, you feel all the muscles in the midsection already hugging in, just stay. If you need a little more, you lift that left leg, keeping it as much as possible. Left hip on the same plane as the right hip. And you just hold. It's strangely difficult. It's one of those things, it's not fancy, it doesn't look terribly impressive, but it's very effective. Again, you can always take a little break if you need to. Got a couple more breaths here. And then release the knee, release the hand. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. This time as you inhale, come up to neutral. You're going to reach your left arm up and out to the side as if you were opening up to give a wave. And then reach your left arm underneath your right armpit. You can lie the side of your head on the floor if that feels comfortable. And this might feel like plenty, just staying right here. You might feel quite a bit of openness in your shoulder blade. If you don't feel enough, you can take your top arm, you can interlace your fingers with your bottom hand, and you can kind of tug that shoulder a little deeper underneath you if you want, holding your own hand. And you can see if you need to do that or not this morning. Take a few breaths here. Now just starting to open up some space between the shoulder blades. And then if you've laced up your fingers, unlace them, bring your right hand down, press it to the floor and unwind. Both hands under the shoulders. As you inhale, you're gonna reach your right arm or opposite arm up and out. And then reach that arm underneath your armpit. And that might feel like plenty, especially as this is pretty early in the class. But if you need a little more, you can interlace your top fingers to your bottom fingers and just tug that arm a little further under, going deeper into the stretch as needed. And I'm noticing that this side doesn't go nearly as deep as the other side. It's quite a bit more resistant this morning. Keep your shoulders a little bit away from your ears so you're not tensing up your neck or your jaw here to stay in this position. And you're going to unwind. Come back to your neutral. Inhale, cow pose. As you exhale, tuck your toes under, lift through cat pose, lift your knees, come to downward facing dog. And this first downward facing dog, just really explore things, move around with the feet up and down, or with the hips side to side. And just let this feel in your body really deeply stretchy. It's not important if your legs are straight or your knees are bent, or if you spend a breath in dog and then you come back to table, that's also fine. You can move there. You just want to start to feel that your body is opening a little more, you're stretching out a little more. We're entering the more dynamic part of our practice here. As you're ready, you're going to take a deep breath in, look forward, and walk yourself or step yourself up to the front of the mat to find a forward fold. And as you find that forward fold, of course, you can do forearms to thighs, hands to shins. You can do fingertips all the way to supports or to the floor. Soft knees. Drape your belly over your thighs. Feel again that lovely spaciousness in your lower back when you bend your knees. There's just so much more space for your spine. Unless you have hyper flexible hamstrings, a bend in the knees, especially at the beginning of class, is so much kinder to your body. I like to sway a little bit or nod and shake a little bit. Nice deep breath here in your Uttanasana. And then press your heels to the floor. Roll yourself one vertebrae at a time all the way up to the ceiling. I bring my arms out and up. You can do heavy arms. As you exhale, let your hands come down by your side. Take a breath here. Get yourself set up comfortably so your feet are a distance apart from each other that feels strong and stable to your body. Let your shoulders begin to relax. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in, draw your arms up over your head, press your palms together. As you exhale, fold yourself forward. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down, step your right foot or your right knee to the back of the mat. And then your left foot or your left knee to the back of the mat, table or downward facing dog. As you inhale, come forward to a plank. And you can come to high plank with the knees lifted if you want, or low plank. See how you feel. Exhale slowly to the floor. Untuck your toes. Lift the center of your chest as you tuck your pelvis down. Find your cobra pose. Press the tops of your feet firmly into the mat. It's okay to press so firmly and to activate your thighs so that your kneecaps lift a little bit. If that happens, that's totally fine. Shrug the shoulders back. Inhale here. And then exhale to release. You're going to press yourself back towards child's pose, hips towards the heels, just as far as your body allows this morning. You're not staying here, you're just going back to child's pose. And then you're going to inhale forward. You could stay in that extended table, or you could tuck your toes and come to downward facing dog again. Take again a deep breath. Get cozy. And then float your right foot to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, step your right foot up to the front of the mat, working to bring it between your hands. If it doesn't get there, grab your ankle, show where to go, or walk your hands back, and then bring your left knee to the floor. Feel free to cushion your back knee. We're going to do a couple of things here on it, so you can fold your mat or grab a blanket if you need to. Inhale, start to lift up. You could bring your hands to your thighs, your hips, for the sky. Lift the center of your chest up as you take your shoulders back and down. So for me, I like to imagine I'm holding that giant beach ball because that allows me to keep my shoulders relaxed. If I keep my hands like this, I am much more likely to squeeze my upper shoulder muscles and create tension. Whereas if I do this, it's really hard to squeeze in this area and it stays a lot more open. Maybe you like to lean a little forward into your front knee, starting to stretch your hip flexors, the front of your left thigh. You have one more deep breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to fold forward, plant your hands down. Use your fingertips on the floor, hands to block. So you're going to take your right leg out behind you for a three-legged table. Inhale. As you exhale, place your right toes on the floor and think about taking them a little bit to the left so they're kind of stacked behind your left foot. My prop is in the way here. So I'm going to take my left foot out to the side like a little kickstand. So the right foot is behind the left foot, but then the left foot moves away. Rock your weight over onto your left hand and your left knee as you turn your right toes to face towards the right side of your mat and lift your right arm up to the sky. Inhale here, press the right side of your foot towards the floor. Maybe reach your right arm up over your head. You can look up or down and just feel that openness on the right side of your body. Enjoy that. Now, this one's a little tricky, so you might need a prop underneath your left hand. Feel free to come in the way that works for you. But maybe you can lift up through the left side of your abdominals and come all the way to standing. I like to turn my right toes to face up and even take my left foot kind of like a little further back behind me. That feels more comfortable than that 45-degree angle, kind of a 90 degree. Lift your arms up as you inhale. And as you exhale, now fold towards your right, towards your extended leg. These feet could also face a little forward. It's not terribly important as long as your hips feel comfortable. Maybe up looking, maybe not. Little gate pose variation. As you inhale, come back to center. You're going to drop your left hand back towards the floor and then fold all the way back down. Right hand down, right knee down, left foot in. Inhale, find cow pose. Exhale, find cat pose. Inhale to neutral. Reach your right leg behind you. Exhale, bring your right knee as close into your nose as you can and step your right foot back to the front of the mat. Untuck, or tuck your back toes rather. Tuck your back toes. They should probably be untucked at this point, but if they're not, that's okay. Tuck them under and lift your back knee up. Inhale here. If you like to use blocks underneath your hands, you can go ahead and place them there, and then you're going to straighten your right leg a little bit until you feel a stretch at the back of your right leg. Draw your right hip to the back of the mat as you draw the crown of your head forwards. If you feel like the floor is really far away, feel free to put your hands up on a prop. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can even place a chair over your foot here and just put your hands on the seat of the chair as you come forward. That's totally acceptable. I have my back heel up so that I can really just focus on this leg, but if you feel like placing the back heel on the floor, more of a traditional pyramid, you can certainly do that. We're going to spend a couple more breaths here. So take your time, get into it, shrug your shoulders back, and just enjoy that deep stretchiness at the back of the body. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend your right knee. If you're using something like a chair, you'll just want to push it forward and out of the way so you can bend your back knee and step your left foot next to your right foot. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, press into your heels, roll all the way up, arms out and up, or heavy arms, your choice. As you exhale, hands down by your sides. Keeping it moving. Inhale the arms up. Press the palms together, exhale to fold. Same thing to the other side. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, step your left foot or your left knee back. Step your right foot or your right knee back. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. Wiggle your hips. And then inhale, plank position. Knees up or down, totally your choice. Exhale all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes. Press the feet down, lift the center of the chest. Cobra. If you're ready, you can come a little bit higher. As you exhale, go ahead and release. Tuck your toes under and move back. You can stay in that extended table or lift up to downward facing dog. Again, just about a breath here to get all comfy and cozy. And then you lift your left leg up. Step your left foot forward. Bring your right knee to the floor. You're going to move up into your lunge position. Feel free to cushion that back knee. You know what's coming. Shrug your shoulders back. You can keep your hands right here. You could go hands to hips or arms up into the sky. And again, start by relaxing your shoulders a little bit. So if you need to take your hands a little wider, even cactus arms here would be a nice option. So that you feel that you can maybe lean a little forward, start stretching the front of the body, stretching the hip flexors. Few more breaths here. Even if you're leaning forward and you're getting a little more back bendy, you'll feel there's a little bit more of a curve in your low back. Still keep your belly button engaged. So there's a little bit of drawing in and up with the belly button. So your low back is supported here in this position. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward. You plant your hands down. You can always use fingertips or hands on blocks to create more space. The left foot comes behind you, three-legged table. You're going to set the left toes behind the right toes and then open that right foot a little to the side, little kickstand. Roll open. Left foot faces the left long edge of the mat. Left arm comes to the sky. You can hold right here. Or you can take that left arm overhead and experience that nice stretch. Press the outer edge of the left outer edge of your left foot into the floor. That's what I'm trying to say. So you get that deep stretch. And then maybe this works as one smooth movement. You can take that right foot a little further behind you as you come up. Little gate pose. You can flip your left toes up if you like and you fold back over to your left. I'm untucking my toes because that feels better on my right knee. Totally personal preference. You could also have those right toes tucked under. That often adds a little bit more stability as you fold a little over to the side. And you can feel this lovely deep stretch through those intercostal muscles, muscles around the top of the pelvis. Inhale, come back. And you're going to float yourself all the way back to the floor. Float the left hand down, the right knee back in, the left knee back in. Inhale, take cow pose. Exhale, lift your belly up, take cat pose. As you inhale back to neutral, take your left leg behind you. And then as you exhale, you bring that knee in towards your nose and see if you can step the left foot again to the front of the mat. Assisted as necessary. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Go ahead and grab some props if you want them. Hands on blocks. You could grab that seat of a chair. You could come and put your hands on the edge of your couch if you want to as you straighten your left leg. Don't hesitate to use what's around you. It's kind of the beauty of being at home is that you can use all sorts of non-traditional things. If required, you have the flexibility to get off your mat and move over to a chair seat as you start to just bring your hip back. That's your left hip, your front hip. And it doesn't really matter if your front leg is perfectly straight or your front knee is bent. If you bring that hip back and reach the crown of your head forward, you're going to experience a really nice stretch at the back of the body. Start to open up all those things that we sit upon. Let them decompress. I always feel like after sitting for a long period of time that I need to, I call it fluffing my butt. You know, you sit for a long time, it's like all the stuff in there, all the muscles, all the tissues, they get compressed, they get stuck together, they adhere. And it's nice to just kind of stretch them all out and they get all fluffy again, like a pillow. And you feel like, oh, there's space between my muscles and my tissues and my bones. They can actually slide against one another and move in a functional manner. When you're ready, you're gonna bend your left knee, soften your back knee a little bit, and step up. Find halfway, lift as you breathe in. And as you exhale, soften your knees, fold forward. As you inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. As you inhale, bring your arms up overhead again. Press the palms together. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down. Step your right foot or your right knee back. Stop there. Walk your hands to the inside of your left foot. Turn your right foot to face the long edge of your mat and start to walk your fingertips to the center line. Turn your left foot to face the long edge of the mat. Line your heels up with one another. Adjust the angle of your feet so that you feel comfortable. You could stay quite propped up here, or you could fold further forward if it feels good. Stretching all the backs and the inner thighs so nicely. If you need a little more, you can always reach and hold onto your ankles, taking your elbows out to the sides. Keep the hint of softness at the back of your knees. So your legs are not locked out. There's still a little bit of support around the joint. I'm going to take a few deep breaths here. And then press your fingertips to the floor. Lift up about halfway. Shrug your shoulders back. Turn your toes out and your heels in. Start to sit back into a squat. Adjust your feet for comfort as you walk your hands up onto your thighs. Find a strong and stable space. Roll your shoulders back as you inhale. Grow a little taller. As you exhale, dip your right shoulder towards your left knee. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the other side. Deep twisting for the back. Twice more in each direction. Come back to the center line. Reach up with your arms as you straighten your legs on your inhale. Turn your right foot to face the back of the room. Turn your left foot to face the long edge of the mat. Bend your right knee. Bring your hands down to your sides, or parallel to the floor. They're not quite down to your sides. Front knee is more or less over the front ankle. Look out over your front fingertips for warrior two. Relax your shoulders. If you need to bring your hands to your hips to manage that, don't hesitate to do so. Squeeze the heel of the front foot towards the arch of the back foot, and reverse the arch of the back foot towards the heel of the front foot. So your inner thighs are now engaged. Your tailbone grows heavy towards the floor. Look forward, turn your right palm up, and fold to the back of the room, reverse your warrior. Just one deep breath here. And then inhale, come back to the center. As you exhale, bring the right arm to the right thigh, bring the left arm overhead. Or you could stretch it a little more out towards the right edge of the mat. Extended side angle. Take your left shoulder a little back. If you feel like you need to go deeper, you can always bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. You're going to come all the way back up. On your exhale, straighten your right leg, turn your toes to face towards the long edge of the mat. Same thing to the other side. Left foot turns to face the long edge of the mat. Bend the left knee, arms are parallel to the floor. Front knee is over front ankle. Now you're looking back to the original front of the room. Squeeze heel to arch and arch to heel. Feel your tailbone relax a little more towards the floor. Warrior two. Left palm flips up, and you fold to the back of the room, reverse your warrior. Soften your shoulders. Inhale to the center. Exhale, extended side angle, left arm to left thigh. Right arm could reach straight up, or you could go for that deeper side bend, a little over to the edge. You could reach a little further if your hips feel ready, getting a little more into the thigh. Couple of deep breaths here. And then lifting all the way back up on an inhale. On your exhale, straighten your leg, turn your toes to face the long edge of the mat and fold back to that Prasarita Padmasana, that wide-legged forward fold. Adjust the angle of your feet. Take a deep, full breath here. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, you're going to walk back to the front of the room. Left foot turns to face it. Right foot turns to face it. Hands plant down. You're going to step back to downward facing dog or table pose. Inhale, come to plank. hold your plank here, lifting your lower back up to the ceiling. You can also hold your table, lifting your lower back to the ceiling here, or your low plank, shoulders over wrists. You can also hold a forearm plank, elbows to the floor, maybe knees lifted. Wherever you are, you just want to feel that strong, stable sensation of lifting your belly up so that your spine is one long, straight line. We're holding here for another deep, full breath. And then we're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Press the tops of the feet down. Lift to your cobra pose as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, fold. Tuck your toes and come all the way back. Table or downward facing dog. Take a deep, full breath here. The next inhale, float your right foot to the sky. And step your right foot to the front of the mat. Step your left foot to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. As you inhale, roll yourself all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, hands come in front of the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale to fold. As you inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, step your left foot to the back of the mat. Walk your hands to the inside of your right foot now. Left foot turns to the long edge of the mat as you walk your fingertips towards it. Right foot turns. Find that wide-legged forward fold. Maybe this time you go a little more into your shoulders. You take your hands behind your back. You interlace your fingers or you grab your elbows as you lift your arms up towards the ceiling. A little bit of softness in your knees. You're ready. Release the fingertips. Press them to the floor. Lift up halfway. Toes out, heels in. Find your squat. Roll your shoulders back. A little bit different on this side. As you inhale, you're going to open your arms out. Turn your palms to face the sky. As you exhale, fold your left arm to your left thigh. Bring your right arm overhead. Inhale, come to the center line. Exhale, go the other direction. Twice more to each side. Inhaling, center. Exhale into the side. As you're ready, you're going to come back to the center line as you inhale. As you exhale, straighten your legs. Turn your right toes to face the front of the room, your left toes to face the long edge of the mat. Bend your knees. Maybe your palms are still facing up. If not, flip them that direction. I said bend your knees, but I meant bend your right knee. Your left leg can stay straight. And then fold back, reverse your warrior as you exhale. Inhale to center. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale to the center line. Straighten your right leg, turn the toes back. As you exhale, left toes turn to the back of the room, bend your left knee. Inhale, warrior one. Warrior two, excuse me. And then exhale, reverse, fold back. Inhale, warrior two. It's actually what it's called. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale to the center line. Straighten the left leg. Toes turn to the long edge of the mat. Fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk your fingertips back to the front of the room. Right foot turns to face it. Left foot turns to face it. Plant your hands down. Step back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, forward. Plank. Exhale to the floor. Inhale, pick up your cobra or your upward facing dog. Exhale, come all the way down. Let your nose hover just above the mat. Stretch your hands back behind you. Let your palms face towards your thighs. As you inhale, peel the center of your chest up. Reach your fingertips back. Keep your feet glued to the mat. As you exhale, lower down. This time, as you inhale, you can do exactly the same thing, or maybe you also float your legs away from the floor. Squeeze your thighs together, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Exhale to release. Inhale, float. Exhale, release. You have one more. Squeeze. Release, hands under the shoulders. Again, go back towards a child's pose for a deep breath. And as you inhale, go ahead and come forward. Lie yourself all the way down on your belly. We did our tree pose kind of lying on the floor. Now we're going to do our tree pose lying face down on the floor. Go ahead and lift your torso a little bit. Slide your right knee up and out to the side. You can always place a prop blanket underneath your knee if it feels a little uncomfortable here. And you can practice like a little frog, your foot kind of extended out to the side. Or you could tuck your right foot towards your left thigh, more like a tree. Lie yourself down. And just see how that feels. Think about, again, relaxing the inner portion of your hip. And you might decide that this feels like plenty. You can kind of just stay here and relax a little bit. Or you can go back into our twist, but this time this twist is a little bit more dynamic. You're going to lift your torso up, and I'll slide my props out of the way. What you're going to do here is you're going to twist away from your bent knee. So you would take your right arm underneath your left armpit and lie yourself down. And this is relatively intense work. So you might think, okay, I need a prop. I need to put a block underneath my head here for some support. You could also fold your left hand in to rest on. If you're like, oh, this feels fantastic, I could do this all day, you can again interlace your fingers and pull your right arm further underneath your body as you come into this twist. And you can stay with your hands laced, or not. I think I need a little cushion today. And now just let go. We moved a little bit dynamically there, so take a moment to switch gears. Let the soles of your feet relax. Let your belly soften into the mat. As you're ready, you can unwind your arm if you took it underneath. And then you're going to slide your right leg back. And take a moment here just to rest. You can extend your arms down and rest your head to one side. And now come over to the other side and kind of prop yourself up. You can slide your left knee up and out to the side. Practice like a little frog. If you have space, you can always kick your props out of the way. Or you can practice like a little tree. And then you can lie down and take a few moments to assess if that's just right. Just your tree frog pose. Or if you want to be a little twisty, you want to lift up and take your left arm underneath your right armpit. So again, you're going away from your bent knee in this twist. And you might decide that a prop is needed because this is a lot of pressure on your shoulder joint. You might decide that you want more and you interlace your fingers and you pull that left arm underneath the body a little deeper. And then you see, okay, now that I'm in this very twisty place, can I still relax a little bit? Can I let the position do the work rather than continuing to strain to get deeper? Take another nice deep breath here. And then unwind yourself. Come all the way back out with the arm and then back with the leg. Bring your hands under your shoulders and press yourself to child's pose. Again, it's just like a deep breath here. It's not a long time. You just reach your fingertips a little forward. You feel some length in your spine. And then you're going to walk yourself up to seated. Swing your legs out to the side and bring them in front of you. We're going to do a forward fold here. And you could do a Paschimottanasana, a simple forward fold here with the legs in front of you where you fold out over the legs. If you choose this option, feel free to use your props. You could use a bolster or a pillow underneath your knees here to make this a little easier. You could sit up onto a blanket or anything else as you do that as well, so that it's more accessible to fold forward. Again, more important than just getting forward is feeling a stretch at the back of your body. That's what this translates to, Paschimottanasana, intense stretch of the west, which is the back of you, the side of you that is facing away from the sun. So your hamstrings, your hips, and your back. That's what you want to feel in this pose. If that doesn't feel comfortable with or without a prop, you could also use a prop on top there. You could always do a Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. I'm just using my bolster because I happen to have it here as you fold forward. You could use a block or anything else. You're also welcome to sit up onto a blanket, folded up blanket here in your Baddha Konasana. So you find the forward fold that feels good to you. Take a moment, maybe try one of each and see, where do I feel a really nice stretch at the back of my body, back of my hips, my hamstrings, my spine. Where do I feel a really nice stretch there? That's where you want to hang out for the next minute or so. That's totally fine. You might notice that I kind of sway a little bit as I get into this to just ease yourself in again. There's no need to go kind of full force 0 to 60 right as you get into the pose. You're slowly accelerating. Which, if you know me, is the opposite of my theory of driving. Get there as fast as possible. Yoga is not like that. Take your time. It's not the destination. It's the adventures you have along the way that are important here. You're ready. Nice and slow to walk your fingertips back in towards you. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. We're going to come to lie all the way down on the floor. Take a moment, if you have props kind of lying right beside your mat, just move them out of the way because we're going to twist our legs over from side to side again. Once you come down to the floor, draw the soles of your feet in. Hook your right knee in towards your chest. And cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee, letting your right knee fall open. That might feel like plenty. Or you might think, I'm going to draw my left knee into my chest and hold behind my left thigh for a little reclined pigeon. Again, feel free to rock around a little bit to move, to feel again the outside of your hip. And we'll take this into a twist. Releasing the left foot to the floor, bring your arms out to the side. Take the sole of your right foot over to the floor on the left side. And if this variation of the twist feels good, it's really nice for the inner hip line here, as well as the outer hip, go ahead and stay. If this doesn't feel great, especially in your knee area, go ahead and uncross. You can always stack the knees, or you could do more of an eagle twist, sliding the thighs closer together if that feels better. Pick a variation that does actually feel good. This is just one option. And when you're ready, come back to the center line. Uncross, sole of the right foot to the floor. Left ankle over the top of the right knee. That might be plenty. Or maybe you draw the right knee in towards you. Feel free to move a little bit. Just enjoying this last little stretch for the Sakapon areas of your body. And then release your left foot. Release your right foot to the floor. Arms out to the side. Now release your left foot towards the floor over there on the right. If that's a good twist for you, stay. If that's not such a good twist, find one that's better. center line. Hug the left knee to the chest. Hug the right knee to the chest. Rock a little. Maybe turn the soles of your feet up for your happy baby. And here, begin to guide yourself towards Shavasana. If there's any other pose or shape in your practice, feel free to take that. We do have perhaps some props accessible. So if you would like to prop your Shavasana, a couple of ideas that might feel really nice after our practice today. Placing the bolster underneath your knees as you come into Shavasana. I like my bolster quite high, but you could do a rolled up blanket or a low bolster as well here underneath the knees, supporting the curvature of your lower back. You could place a roll underneath your neck, rolled up towel or blanket, just a cushion on your head. Another really nice option today that's really great if you have sat a lot, that was confusing, is a legs up the wall. So if you have a wall space accessible to you, even if you just bring yourself up to your couch seat and hook your legs over your couch seat, that works well too. You come to a wall space, a chair seat, or a couch seat, and I'm going to put my hips on a bolster. My hips are tender. You can also do this straight on the floor or a folded up blanket or your mat. And you sit with your shoulder against either your seat here, this might be your couch seat or your chair seat, or against the wall, and then you're going to lean back, flip your feet up, and your feet can rest against a wall. Or if you were sitting, you were sitting against a chair, you might end up with more of this chair shape with the calves on the chair seat, and that's fine too. But a really nice option, even if you don't take it for today's Shavasana, just to remember when you've been sitting for a long time, this is kind of the position of sitting, especially if you put your feet up on that chair seat, but you've relieved all of the gravity of sitting. You've changed your relationship and your orientation to gravity. So it has basically, it's like if you've taken those homeopathic remedies, like cures like, it's, in my opinion, kind of the same idea, only you're just changing one little element of this. You're putting your feet up so your blood goes the opposite direction. Your lymph starts to drain. You've released the pressure in your back, and now you're placing your shoulders on the floor so they can, instead of rounding forward in a traditional seated position, they can relax backwards. And even just lying like this before you have to sit, before you do a long drive or go to work, can really help you to sit better later. Wherever you are, as long as you are comfortable and relaxed, that's where you want to stay. That's where you want to Shavasana. The shape of your Shavasana is never as important as the ability of your body to relax. That's what counts. Take a nice deep breath in. And a big sigh out. And just allow yourself to melt into whatever shape you happen to be in. The more you can relax, the more you can let go, the better you will feel later. 3 or 5 or 10 minutes, especially today, stay in this decompressed state and enjoy a few more moments of relaxation. If it's time to move on, take a deep breath in. Big sigh out. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. And as you're ready, roll yourself to one side to rest for a few breaths. Or making your way to your most comfortable seat. When you're ready, bring your hands in front of your heart. We'll close with our deep breath together. In through nose, out through mouth, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practices and your time and your suggestions with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day.